All right, joining me once again here on the Matthew Filipowicz Show is my good friend David Dayen. David is an independent journalist whose work you can find at davedayen.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at ddayen. David, thank you so much for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
All right, so David, you wrote a really interesting piece earlier on this week for the Fiscal Times entitled "In Defense of Hillary Clinton's Shameless Pandering." And frankly, I love the article, and there's so many good points I want to get to. So tell us about the article.
Right. So over the past couple weeks, we've seen Hillary Clinton take a lot of, I guess you would call them left-leaning positions, whether it's opposing the Keystone XL pipeline or the Cadillac tax on high-cost insurance plans or the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And a lot of commentators, both sort of in the centrist media and even on the left, have just written those off as just pandering and this shameless way of trying to appeal to a certain part of the electorate. My view is that pandering is a good thing. That's in our day and age, when there are very few people that have the ability to affect the political process through money. I mean, we saw the New York Times article come out that 158 families are funding half of our presidential elections. There are very few opportunities for ordinary people to get their voice and their views into the political debate. And this primary election, with the resurgence of Bernie Sanders, allows that to happen on the left, and people should, organizations, public interest groups should take advantage of that political leverage that is afforded to them, and we shouldn't demean this or write it off. We should actually celebrate this.
Yeah, the whole point that we should actually want politicians pandering to us. And I guess us on the left, we're not really used to having people pander to us a whole lot, at least in the recent years where so much of the Democratic Party has gone so far right. I guess some of us are just sort of not really used to Democrats actually, wanting our votes this time.
Right. I mean, I guess the common argument that's made on the other side is that, well, Hillary Clinton will just drop this opposition to TPP if and when she gets into office. There are two things to say about that. Number one, political science has actually studied this, and they've found that politicians usually keep their promises, that to an astonishingly high degree, those promises are kept and are really only derailed when the Congress doesn't agree with the president. So that's number one. Number two is that it's far more important if you care about the policy, for example, of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, it's far more important for Hillary Clinton to come out against that now than to support it later. We're going to have votes on this in the House, and having Hillary Clinton in opposition is going to make it very difficult for House Democrats who supported her, for example, to flip and decide to support TPP. So, having this political leverage and having the ability to get Hillary Clinton on your side, I mean, this is the basic building blocks of politics. We talk about politics being this bottom-up kind of way in which to participate in the process. And without pandering, you don't have that. So you need another way of looking at pandering is just politicians actually listening to their constituents. And if you look at it that way, it's not really something to be disturbed by.
Yeah, and I'd say being disturbed is something that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, us on the left, we can point out, I guess, the hypocrisy in some of these instances of Hillary. She did speak for the TPP dozens of times. Her State Department was in charge of the horrible permit process of KXL, which was riddled with scandals. I mean, we can point that out and still be happy that they're doing it. That means us on the left are actually doing our job when a politician like Clinton feels the need to pander to us. That is a sign that we're actually doing something right and actually should continue on that path of really pushing these politicians. These politicians aren't our friends. Even I like Bernie. Bernie's not my friend, and we need to get Bernie to continue pushing. Like Black Lives Matter pushing Bernie made Bernie better on race. The whole idea that these politicians and getting kind of caught up in the whole cult of personality thing is something that we need to not do, even if we supposedly like the particular candidate we're talking about.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and the thing about political leverage is it's dynamic. It's not static. You have to keep pushing. But you're absolutely right in saying that the business of politics is to try to get leaders to come to your side for a variety of reasons and using whatever leverage you might have available to you at the time. And so I definitely agree that this is not a time to sort of let up if you don't support the TPP or don't support you try to use these endorsements as a tool, first of all, to broaden your coalition, and number two, you make sure that politicians stick with the promises that they make, and that if they don't, they feel a price for that, so that they'll stick with the next promise that they make. So this is all part of the push and pull of politics, and it really should not be dismissed.